Welcome to the Love and Sex Today show with Dr. Doug Weiss. Doug has been healing hearts and relationships for decades. He's helped thousands of people release the shame and the guilt, restoring hope, helping people get free from addictions to enjoy a better sex and love life. Here he is, your host, Dr. Doug Weiss.
Welcome to Love and Sex Today. I am Dr. Doug Weiss, and I will be your host today for our 25th conversation. This one is going to be hot. I am going to talk about groping. To grope or not to grope. That is going to be our topic for today. And, you know, I sit in a laboratory of relationships and sexuality every single day, and I have for the last 30 years. And groping is one of those refined issues that a lot of couples never talk about. There's tension, confusion, and misunderstanding on both sides on the issue of groping. Well, today we're going to get into that, and we are going to demystify that so you can have a better sex and better love relationship with your spouse or partner. And we want you to really do that. Have great love and great sex. So go to loveandsextoday.com, subscribe there, and write a review. Do that on this one. It'll be fun to get your feedback and to see what other people think on to grope or not to grope. One of you will be selected for a private conversation with myself, and we'll be able to connect and maybe accelerate something in your life. Also, you get a free chapter on the webpage, Love and Sex Today, usually something very, very helpful there. Well, let's get right into the topic, to grope or not to grope. Now, oftentimes, when you're dating, you're kind of feeling around and everybody's happy with that, and it feels warm and fuzzy, and, it can lead to other things. But then you walk down the aisle and you say, I do. And things can change. And in one of the areas of marriage that can change is the area of groping. What used to be fun and exciting, now you feel like you might be getting pushed away, or it might be misunderstood, or all of a sudden, groping takes on a new meaning or a different meaning. And nobody has told the other person that the meaning of groping has changed. Well, we need to talk about this today because so many couples are having tension. And most times it's not spoken. It's kind of this feeling that goes back and forth, and it's really misunderstood. And sometimes groping's okay. Sometimes it's not okay. Sometimes you're thought to be a jerk. I mean, what is going on in groping? Now, groping is that special thing you get to do with your partner. Groping is that fun, playful, but also can be misinterpreted activity. It's when you're fondling the genitals and the areas, the private areas of your spouse, in private, at home, hopefully behind closed doors, okay? And it's what's going on, sometimes in the kitchen, sometimes in the laundry room. And we need to get into this because groping can be really a sensitive topic, okay, for a lot of people. This is probably one of those shows you might not send off to all your friends. But I can tell you, women, please, in the Women's Network, please send this out because we are going to transform the way this is happening in your mind and in your heart. And it may actually transform the way it is happening in your body. If you will listen to the next 10 minutes, it might really radically change your understanding, interpretation, and give you a language for groping. Now, some people generally like groping, and some people may or may not like groping. Okay, and this tends to show up after marriage, and in the dating phase, oftentimes, okay, you want to get to know me a little bit, and, we're kind of maybe a little more free, but in marriage, all of a sudden, we become a little bit more of who we are. So I want to talk about this from two perspectives. I want to talk about it from a woman's perspective, and then I want to talk about it from a man's perspective. Now, remember, for the last almost 30 years, I've been listening to men and women talk about their sex lives, talk about foreplay, communication. And if you want great information on that, I would totally refer you to the 5 Sex Languages book. And if you're stuck and need counseling, I would definitely call Heart to Heart Counseling Center, 719-278-3708. And we can maybe help you break through that. But from a woman's perspective, groping has meaning. Now, I need to have a conversation here with a lot of men and women as well, because even women don't know how they operate. And sitting with you graciously for the last 30 years, I've got insight into women that a lot of women don't even have. And one of those insights is that women think symbolically a lot more than men do. Men tend to buy symbols. Women tend to think in symbols. So a symbol is there's a behavior that goes on, and a woman gives it meaning. And once she gives it meaning, that behavior becomes that meaning, regardless of how rational it is or not. Now, let's do something totally off the sex topic. So your husband doesn't put the toilet seat down. That can become something that becomes a symbol. The symbol can be, well, he's just lazy. The symbol is he's selfish. The symbol is he's a jerk. The symbol is he's thoughtless. The symbol can be he doesn't love me. Because if he loved me, he would think of me and put the toilet seat down. Well, if the toilet seat becomes symbols of he doesn't love me and he's a consistent, unaware man, then you're going to feel unloved, not because he doesn't love you. He loves you with all his heart. He would do anything for you. He works and slaves and he tries and he really does love you. But now the toilet seat is a symbol. And every day you see the symbol of him not loving you. And you begin to grow really less fond of your husband because of the symbol. Now, at some point, I'm going to probably write a whole lot about this and do more shows on this. But that's enough for today to make sense of what we're talking about. So what happens is groping for women, for many women, can't say that absolutely, but for many women, it becomes a symbol. Now, the symbol can be positive or it can be not so positive. It may become a symbol of, oh, I'm loved. I'm special. I'm appreciated. He likes me. He likes to play with me. Right. Okay. That would be a positive symbol of groping. Okay. And I can tell you that is really what most men are thinking. However, it is not always a positive symbol for women. And once it moves to a less than positive symbol for women, groping then becomes a symbolic behavior in which the woman gives it meaning and the man is totally clueless that the woman has given it meaning. Just like the toilet seat. That guy doesn't know that she thinks he doesn't love her. If he did, it would break his heart. And women keep their symbols a lot to themselves. I have uncoded thousands of symbols with women. And once you identify a symbol, only then can its symbol be changed or dissolved or given another name. It cannot be dissolved and changed until it's identified. So if a woman has this as a symbol of groping, I'm just a toy. I'm a thing. I'm an it. Let's just stop there. If every time or most of the time, your husband partner gropes your top, bottom, front, back, whatever, and you feel like a thing, you've made that touch the symbol of being a thing or an it, how are you going to feel? Icky? Want to pull away? Disgusted? Maybe ashamed or embarrassed or weird? Because the symbol is giving you those feelings, not the behavior. And that's a big distinction. Okay, the behavior is not giving you the symbol. Your interpretation of that behavior is giving you those feelings. What if you feel like when you're groped that there's never enough? You're not good enough. Sex, there's never enough sex. This always leads to sex. Then what's going to happen is you're going to want to control the groping. You're going to want to push the groping away. Okay, because if you can control the groping, you can control sex. Now, that totally is crazy because men will think about sex regardless of whether you push them away from groping or not, because men think about sex, okay? And you know that. It's not like that's news to you, okay? So what happens is if the woman creates a symbol of groping, the symbol has to be identified for exactly what it is. So ladies, in your own heart, in your own mind, sit down and write out what groping means to you. That's the symbol. Whether it means I'm not enough, he never satisfied. That's a real common symbol with groping. He's never satisfied. So every time he touches you in that way, he's never satisfied. What are the feelings you're sending through your body when you put that symbol meaning on that? It doesn't mean that at all. And men aren't supposed to be, there's a level of satiation of sex after sex, but sex is an ongoing appetite. It's like saying, because a man's hungry, he never appreciated the meal you made 20 years ago, or 5 years ago, or yesterday. That's insane. Sex is an appetite, so it's ongoing. But if a woman creates a symbol around groping, it can totally make that experience different. So ladies, you will have to look at what your symbol is if you have one. Some ladies don't. They're just like, hey, he just likes to play with me. This is fun. I'm hot and it's wonderful. And great. There's not a negative symbol. If there is a negative symbol to it, you're going to have to look at that and you're going to have to declassify that and reclassify that intentionally. And maybe have to have a heart-to-heart conversation and maybe come up with a meaning or a mutual understanding on groping and when it's acceptable, when it's not. If you're having a busy day and you're in the kitchen and the kids are at the table, that may not feel appropriate to you. And having some boundaries around groping, totally legitimate to do that. Totally legitimate to talk about that, to feel that your body's honored. That's important. But to make sure that you know what the meaning is very powerful. Now, for men are not complicated. Men do not generally think about symbolicness as it relates to groping. They tend to have real positive feelings about that. Now, women, just think a minute. If you have sons, you do not in any way look at your sons when they're playing with other boys and they're pushing each other around and they're wrestling and they're grabbing each other and, that's not sexual to them. That is the way they show affection, respect, and affirmation to each other. It's part of the male tribe. Okay? Now, when the male marries or is in a significant relationship, he feels the same way towards you. He wants to show you affection. He wants to show you touch. He wants to show you respect. He wants to show you praise. He wants to show you that he appreciates you. He wants to feel close to you, and he's going to want to fondle you. Okay? And so for him, being fondled has a totally different set of nerves and endings, and he likes it. Most men, now I'm not saying all, but 90+% of men, they enjoy being groped. Groping for them means you like them, you're having sexual thoughts, you enjoy them. It doesn't mean you want to have sex that minute, but it's like, wow, they actually have a sexual being inside that female body. And it's like, whoa, they have that wow feeling when they're groped. Okay? And it's a good thing. Men love to be groped. Grope them. Okay? It's okay to grope them when they're dressed, not dressed. It's grope them out of the shower. They don't generally have problems with groping, and it usually means a very positive thing for them. And as long as you might have to have a conversation. Listen, if I grope you, I know you like that, but it doesn't mean I want to have sex with you right now, right that minute. I will let you know, hey, I want to have sex with you, and then grope you if I want to have sex with you. If I grope you without those words, it just means I'm playing with you because I know you like that. Okay, you might have to have that conversation with them so that in his mind he can separate. It doesn't mean, hey, I want to go right to bed, but I do want to give you what you want. I do want you to know I really like your body and I love you very much and I think about you sexually. Very positive thing to do. So generally men, you don't have to really go into any deep conversation about what the meaning of groping. For them, it's just fun. Now, hopefully this conversation has been really helpful and you can really maybe demystify and maybe get back to enjoying groping. Really get to have it be what you want it to be. Give it the meaning you want it to have, because sometimes these meanings just evolve. Now, I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com, subscribe there, write a review in iTunes. This will be a fun one to get your feedback on. And one of you will be picked for a private conversation with myself every single month, and also get the free chapter on the webpage. And you can ask questions. And please do that, because your questions can make our topics. We love you very much. We want you to have a great love and sex today. And as always, enjoy each other.
That's it for our episode of Love and Sex Today with Dr. Doug Weiss. Head on over to loveandsextoday.com and be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes. When you do, and you post a review on iTunes, some lucky listener is going to win every single month a private confidential coaching call with Dr. Doug Weiss. Also, feel free to ask any question you like. You can push a button, speak your question, and Dr. Doug will answer your question in a future episode. So be sure to subscribe to the show. Doug's got some great gifts for you, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.